All right, MA Marignon, turn 28. Our war will no doubt be progressing slowly. Ah, yes, I forgot. Assassinations. Well, let's take a look at those. Just regular unkitted human assassins, about as Joe Schmo as you can get, going up against some turkeys. This one was injured, lost an eye. They have been fighting. Maybe a paladin. So yeah, no gems on these turkeys. Astral are not great, although yeah, he has some nature. We're not going to love poison. We have a poison dagger, but we have no resistance to poison. But it looks like he missed, and we hit with the poison dagger, so that's good news. Yeah, alright, come on. And he retreated. Nice. Yeah, luck doesn't help you if you retreat. I'm guessing that, like, well, we'll see. Kind of curious. Yeah, luck. Nice. So he was lucky, wow, 4 times. It's a relatively lucky turkey, but it did not work out for him in the end. So, you know, it's pretty early research. And yeah, I'm not sure. I feel like nature mages also probably are somewhat easy to assassinate if they don't have gems. This guy has death. That's bad because he's going to want to make skeletons. He also has spirit sight. Interesting. I wonder, I thought that he did not, these guys aren't sacred, so yeah, I guess it's not part of the bless. So that's not good. We don't have spirit sight. This is a knight. Nether bolt. Yeah, that could be bad for us. I think that's a magic resistance. Yeah, let's take a look. Yeah, failed to resist. So you do get a resistance check, but, you know, regular old assassin doesn't have great magic resistance. So that's what I was saying. The other thing about nature mages is, like, their evocation power is not fantastic. And that's probably one of the more useful paths or types of magic to have when defending against assassins. The other big one being, you know, summoning, which, you know, if you give them some nature gems, you can just summon in some bugs, which is really effective both for assassins and defending against assassins. Ah, okay, so he's just pinging, I'm assuming, here? Maybe not. Oh, okay, maybe like a swarm raid. Or he's trying to super combatant? Did he just, was that personal regeneration? Yeah, I don't think that was us casting it. Okay, or I mean, I guess not super combatant, but just, you know, trying to thug this. Yeah, don't really see that working out. She didn't even need our army. It was just, you know, heavy cav is like, that's not bad. So yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe he was just thinking that there wasn't going to be very much PD in that province. But I do believe that's the border province, you know, that they launched the attack through initially. And then here we have, oh, this is a throne, I think. Nice. Okay, yeah. This is why you leave scouts on top of thrones. Not a particularly tough throne. In fact, are there even casters here? Wow, that's kind of unusual. I wonder if there was some assassinations going on. Maybe. It's a blood guard. I guess he's a commander. Huh. Yeah, I don't really see any mages. Kind of unusual for a level 2 throne. I mean, this is a lot of centaur. Centaur warriors are kind of scary. So we'll see. This is a ton of Jabalba's sacreds, who, yeah, I don't have a ton of experience with. I don't think they're great. They do have a magic weapon built in, which is really nice, this obsidian blade. In terms of the bless, some poison resistance. I think they already get some poison. Oh, interesting. They do not. So yeah, poison resistance, which probably makes sense. I think Jabalba is a nation that can do foul vapors, but it never hurts even if they can't. Some reinvigoration, undying, sure. HP +1. Feels a little left over, although the bats do have, they don't have a lot of HP, so maybe that's for some like sacred bat casters. Blood Surge, never bad. Combat Farcaster, yeah, so he must have some sacred mages, I would hope. Not these mages though. This is his prophet, not a spellcaster normally, so it looks like mostly skelly spam, you know, along with his sacreds. This is, well, yeah, this is a lot of skelly spam. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I knew that Javalva could do skelly spam, and it definitely looks like this Javalva's been doubling down on that. You can see some blood surges triggering. I do think this is going to be a little on the bloody side, you know, which is, I mean, you know, like I said, this is a fairly large throne in terms of just numbers, and those centaur warriors are scary. Of course, you know, heavy cav can be nasty. The vine ogres, I don't know. It's a little, they do a lot of damage, but they don't have great skills. And their attack density isn't great. So, you know, if you have decent defense, it is kind of unfortunate. You know, his Skelly Spammers were behind his regular troops, right? So his regular troops are taking, like, kind of the brunt. I don't know about the brunt, but a lot too much. You know, there's a ton of skeletons here that just, they're not really doing anything. You really want the skeletons to be absorbing the casualties. So it does look like he's going to come away with this. Oh, dang. How did he maybe had some attack rear. I missed that. That's kind of cool. Maybe just attack rear in general. Let's take a quick look. A lot of people like that. It can be really effective. I'm not huge on it. Like, just setting your units, in a really long line like this, and then setting them to attack rear can be a good way, you know, to get units into the rear. But it does mean that, like, units tend to get, like, strung out. Yeah, so, like, you know, you end up splitting your forces in a lot of cases. So not really sure this did him any favors here, right? Especially because, oh, here's a caster. Okay, nice, interesting. Just one dryad, which, like, yeah, you know, I mean, like, what is she even casting? Sermon of Courage and Panic? Meh. So it's kind of like you don't really need to get in the back here, I feel like, for this particular battle. To you know, sometimes it's critical, right? You want to stop the mages from casting their spells, in which case, like, that long line and attack rear could be good. But in this case, I think kind of probably hurt him more, right? Because it spread out his forces. Nice. This is probably on top of our fort. Yeah. So goodbye PD, and this fort is going to get locked down. I was honestly expecting this to happen sooner. Yeah, and of course attack rear. Now we do have two commanders here, which is nice, but yeah, he's got, like, personal regeneration. You can see though, right, crossbows, like, we're dealing damage. Like, we might, I don't think we're not gonna kill him here. It's not impossible. Probably impossible, yeah. 10 regeneration a turn. The problem is the crossbows, they fire too slowly. If we were firing every round, then, like, maybe we'd have a chance. But you can see that, like, yeah, I mean, we're not doing great here, so maybe not. But with enough crossbows, we definitely did do some damage, you know, get some knights in there. And yeah, of course, we lost our commanders. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of okay with this. You know, we weren't doing a ton of recruitment out of that fort anyway. And if that's, you know, where his pretender is tied down and not busy assassinating us. And then, of course, this is us backtracking. Oh, embarrassing. But, you know, we're going to have no trouble taking out these earth gnomes at least. So we'll clean up that business. Oh, God. Come on, Throne of Gaia. Enough already. 2. So we must have had, let's see. Okay, so that's fertility, another Throne of Gaia. Gosh darn it. And then, yeah, Dreams of a Fountain of Fire. I should probably investigate this. Old Giant Woods. I feel like this is not the first of this Fountain of Fire. These are not always true, but sometimes there is, like, this site will be nearby. So we'll have to take a look at that. And then we're going to lose 2 provinces. Yeah, Wolf Tribe didn't work out. Hey, nice. Our barbarians, yeah, you know, barbarian PD. So we held one. And then, yeah, we're under siege in our fort in the cave, but he's not going to actually be able to break it down and take it from us. So it's just going to block recruitment, which is annoying, but not the end of the world. So not terrible overall. And yeah, I'll see you guys after the jump. All right, so this is the situation and what we're doing about it. A couple of major things this turn. Probably the biggest one is, you know, we're going to be combining our reinforcements, you know, with kind of our main army here. Pretty much all the same kind of stuff that we've seen. You know, nothing crazy there. There's just the Eagle Warriors, right, with some caster support and those monster toads, which could be a little rough, although, you know, I do have poison resistance on the Bless, so the knights at least will be okay to an extent. But yeah, high confidence we can beat this. My expectation is that he will pull back to his capital. I think the Jaguar Warriors probably recaptured this from Xibalba. They will probably also be coming back to the capital. But I think at this point, especially since we know the god is here, right? This is, you know, where the god is sieging our fort. It's not impossible that he could fly back, but I don't think so, right? He's pretty high map move, but I think within enemy territory especially, you know, he's only going to be flying, you know, like 2 provinces, right? I mean, he had to, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He does have 2 turns, of course, to get back, but I just don't think he's quite going to be able to get there. I think he's going to need 3 turns. So, you know, and we need to be moving forward. Aryu hit me up and asked me, how's your war going against Bandar? It's like, well, actually pulling back. I said, well, but slow. So yeah, that definitely, fills me with terror. I don't think that Aryu is going to be attacking, especially since we have the non-aggression pact. He probably doesn't have non-aggression pact with some of his new non-aggression pacts with some of his new neighbors. So they're going to be a lot more enticing, even aside from the fact that we've tangled before and it was rough for both of us. But he did mention that he had foul vapors. I did not mention that I have no nature access. So that's what this move is about. So we're going to go ahead and start a fort. I have 2 guys moving here. Whoops, that's a mistake. So yeah, definitely going to be starting a fort here, right, for the lizard shamans. Very late on this. Yeah, I was pretty worried about this pretender, like just knocking down various fort constructions. Speaking of that pretender, that's kind of the other big thing. So we're actually going to go ahead and break siege here, right? I did a little bit of testing, and yeah, I feel decent about it. The main thing is, he just has a weakness to fire, right? So we're just going to summon in some lesser fire elementals, and if these guys ever wake up, they'll do some incinerates, and this guy is just going to do some incinerate. The halberdiers actually do pretty well if they can connect. They probably won't be able to connect because it's in a cave, but they'll at least keep his summoned beast bats off of our casters while they do their thing. And you never know, they might get in a few lucky hits. But with that weakness to fire, I have a pretty good confidence on this. It's a lot of gems that we're spending, definitely, but if we kill his pretender, I think absolutely worth it. And I mean, this is a lot of gold, right? I think we're splitting it right now. Yeah, income 56. So it's a decent amount of income that we're losing, but really, it'd be better if we kill the pretender also to that end, just in case, he decides that he wants to, a throne. He doesn't know necessarily. It depends on his scout network that there's no fort here. But if he does know there's no fort here, this is very attractive, in addition to the fact that I'm building a fort here, so extra, attractive. He may not know that. So anyway, to that end, we're just bringing a grab bag of stuff. This is not in darkness, so our paladins are going to do decently well. Our crossbowmen are going to do okay. We have more incinerates here. We're not really actually summoning any lesser fire elementals, which maybe actually should switch that up. We'll see. I might. But I think the incinerates are going to do pretty well. The other thing is we're going to have flaming arrows. Yeah, here we go, flaming arrows. And we did a decent PD dump, right? And this is light cavalry who get a bow. The short bow is not going to be great, especially because he's casting skeletal body, which gives him pierce resistance. But, we're just interested in that fire damage, and you just really need any kind of bow for that. So I think if he tries to, knock this fort down, we'll kill him here. I was tempted to do some patrolling on some of my forts, but I think, both with the fact that he's going to be seeing that his capital is in serious threat here, and these aren't in caves, and he doesn't really know how much PD there is. I think it's a lot less likely that he jumps on top of one of our forts. So yeah, I mean, this is, all of this, right? These guys aren't researching this turn. The guys that I'm moving, right, obviously are not researching this turn. Our research is doing okay, but, definitely taking a hit here. We still have a few turns before we hit Thaumaturgy 5, which is not actually really critical for us right now. Soulslay would be nice, but I think, with this fire weakness, Incinerate is going to be enough. Now, of course, he can change up his script, and if he makes it back to his own territory, he can change up his gearing so that, the Incinerate is going to be a lot less effective. Probably he can get enough gear to basically neuter it completely. So we do want Soulslay, and then, we're going to want Soulslay for, who knows, especially the giants. Yeah, that's the main reason. But, there's always stuff. It's a useful spell to have. In terms of the wider world and the diplomatic situation, still haven't really heard from Bandar. Not really ever expecting to. Haven't actually contacted Nabaa yet. The fact that they're still sieging Arco's capital is good. This is taking a while. They haven't broken it. Not really sure what's going on here, but this might be an indicator that they're, busy with other things as well. But yeah, definitely do need to talk to them. I kind of want to wait in some ways because they're kind of an ideal target for me. Just geographically, there's, this capital's really close. Their territory now sticks in. It's the same Arco problem. So ideal in that sense. Obviously, the shock damage thing is going to be a problem, but realistically, there's enough air, air use and air nation. I don't think I don't know. Ashdod might actually get... Anyway, there's going to be plenty of air nations, so we're just going to have to suck it up and deal with the fact that we don't have shock resistance. I don't think it's going to be that bad, but we'll see. So I might wait to contact him until either he captures this, the capital, or, you know, I manage to turn things around in our war. Now, obviously, it's not looking great. But, you know, we have more reinforcements coming in, right? And, you know, we have the right tech now. And I think, you know, this is going to be enough numbers that, like, we're going to be able to make a play for Mictlan's capital. It looks like, you know, Xibalba did pull back. Obviously, we saw Xibalba fight over here. Still actually haven't talked to Xibalba, but less important now that we know that their main stack, like, they're just on a single capital. They're not very large. I can't imagine that they have another army like this. This is probably, like, the majority of their, you know, mages and... at least, you know, non-research mages that they can actually throw into an army, and their sacreds. Speaking of which, we didn't look at the casualty list. Not actually terrible, you know, but I mean, 22 sacreds, like, that does hurt a bit. You know, he was going up against a lot, but yeah, I really think he probably could have reduced this a bit by having those skeleton spammers out in front. Of course, that is always dangerous because the centaur warriors are really fast, and the skeletons do need a second to build up. So maybe if he, you know, took my advice, he just would have lost a bunch of mages. But anyway, he is not likely to be capturing Mictlan's capital, or honestly any of his infrastructure, anytime soon, because I don't think these guys are very fast. Let's just double check that. But like, frogs are not exactly known for their speed, so I imagine, yeah, frog people, not super fast. Yeah, map move 12. So this is going to be like a one province a turn, like, sort of army in most cases. You know, maybe two, like, move 2 provinces here, but he's quite a few turns away. So, you know, we'll contact him later and, you know, maybe work out, like, it's like, yeah, you can have, like, these 3 provinces and, like, maybe this fort, but ideally we would get this fort as well. Now, of course, like, we'll see, you know, what Bandar, you know, does. Now, of course, like, the scout report's like, nah, there's not that many Tiger Riders there. Like, you know, this looks way more takeable, but, yeah, you know, I mean, this was, I don't know. I still feel good, actually, about pulling back, especially because, like, even if we won, but badly, we leave ourselves pretty open to, like, Mictlan's stack coming in. So yeah, I think that more or less covers turn 28. And one final point that I forgot to mention, and one thing that I changed is we're making some crossbowmen raiding attacks. So just like 20 crossbowmen, I think it should be able to take minimal PD, maybe overcommitment. I'm not really sure. Haven't tested this. And it does always concern me. You know, that's 40 crossbowmen. It's not impossible that these Jaguars just move here. He PD dumps, and, like, we have a major battle. We have, like, the major battle here. So, you know, 40 crossbowmen would be nice to add to that. But we need to start taking provinces faster. And even if we lose it, I think we'll deal enough damage that our reinforcements will be able to come up and we can probably still seal the deal. I don't know. We'll see. Could be a mistake. But yeah, now that covers turn 28. All right. MA Marignon, turn 29. Hopefully we kill a god this turn. Uh-oh. Or he locks down my capital. That's probably what this is. Oh, no. Okay, this is the birds. Remote attack spell. Nice. Yeah, a lot of people feel like this is a waste of gems. Although, considering that we have the reduced PD, yeah, we only have the 1 commander, I think. No, we're still fighting? Why are we still fighting? I thought we only had 1 commander here. But yeah, anyway, this could have worked. Yeah, there we go. Here comes the rout. I guess it just doesn't happen right away. We still actually might win this because we can't. We have to go through the birds. Oh, dang it! The commander is gonna screw us over here. Because yeah, the birds actually rout off a lot faster than we do. But unfortunately, it looks like the Great Hawk is gonna take this away. Yeah, he's gonna chase down, like, these limping or crippled guys. So yeah, that's sad that we lose our capital to that, but it happens. Maybe should have been patrolling, but I am trying to patrol less here and there. And then yeah, it looks like we actually get raided out quite a bit here. Okay, so this is where the Pretender went. Oh yeah, this is one of those maps that the Dominion's client does not like. I think it's all this grass in the background here. So yeah, this is not going to go well for us. There's actually a decent amount of PD here, but it's not going to stop a Pretender. So yeah, we lose that. That's not surprising, and it's too bad. That means that, we didn't actually we didn't kill him off. Okay, more air gems. This is kind of a good thing. I mean, also probably an indicator. Yeah, we don't really have any PD here. So yeah, we lose out on this, no doubt. Although barbarians, I think normally probably could, beat this. It depends. I mean, this spell can be decent at sniping the commander, in which case kind of doesn't really matter what PD type you have. But yeah, probably another indicator that he does not have Conjuration 5 researched, right? So no air elementals, because probably if he was thinking about air elementals, he wouldn't be spending like 20 gems on kind of marginal remote attack spells, but it definitely works out for him here. I mean, that's a pretty big shift in terms of provinces. And then it looks like Yis is coming in on Bandar, probably a good thing-ish, maybe. We'll see. I haven't talked with Yis since I originally invited them in. Yeah, this is going to be pretty easy. I don't know if we've seen their bless yet, so let's take a look at that. It's looking a little rainbowy here. Yeah. So attack skill, that's cool. Extra morale, which is kind of interesting. Maybe just extra fire point. Shock resistance, poison, cold. Like, yeah, pretty full resistances. No fire resistance, though, which is definitely relevant, for Marignon. It looks like they just have a little bit built in, but 5 is not that much. I mean, it can be boosted with, some spells, but yeah, I like to see that. We can get around 5 fire resistance, and then some defense skill, a little bit of HP. Not sure about that. I wonder where. I feel like he should have some more nature. Oh, it's the poison resistance. Okay. Blood Surge, yeah, definitely solid on these guys. And Affliction Resistance, which probably more of like a thug pick. I feel like a lot of people don't really like Affliction Resistance. But, I mean, yes, definitely can run thugs, and like these are pretty high value sacreds, so can definitely understand wanting to protect them. So, yeah, it's kind of standard-ish Rainbow Bless, but, with not that much fire resistance, which is good to see. And then this is probably... Okay, no, this is us unlocking our fort, but of course... Oh, he left a scout. Hopefully this is not going to trigger gem usage. Yeah, fire shield, so... Yeah, I think we can beat one scout. Famous last words. Yeah, there we go. And then let's see. We were attacking... Right, this is some of our crossbow rating. Uh-oh. Whoops. So this is definitely a mistake. So I was playing around with the idea of just raiding with a bunch of commanders. And I thought I had updated the attack so that we would do crossbow rating. You can see like everybody's just set to hold. So yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, well, if it's just like 1 PD, it should work out. And like, lo and behold, because we don't really need the assassin protection right now. But then I was like, well, if we run into any actual resistance, this is actually like a lot of gold to be risking, like, in this kind of like raid. So, I figured, I'm like, A, it's a lot of gold to risk, and B, if it runs into any real resistance, they're going to lose, versus like I can just send like 20 crossbows, which is probably less gold overall, maybe comparable. It's still like a significant amount of gold to lose, but it's much more likely to, actually capture the province if we, run into resistance. But yeah, I may have like emailed in my turn and then was planning on updating it, or yeah, who knows what happened. So glad that worked out, and not a normal raid. And so that means, yeah, probably our other crossbow raid didn't happen, I'm guessing, which is probably fine considering it looks like Micklin chose not to move out, which I'm actually kind of shocked about. This is really good news for us. Yeah, there's the eagles jumping in. Hopefully we get our major spells off. Yep. So we got Solar Eclipse. He's got a Howl. That is going to be a hassle, definitely. And we got Flaming Arrows off as well, so like that's both really good. The Thunder Strikes, like, yeah, that hurts, but like it's fine. What is going on here? Oh no. You're going after some wolves. Like, yeah, this is where like attack close, this is not great. We do have one squad on attack rear, but they are struggling a bit, right? Because they're getting hammered by the lightning. But yeah, like we just have the numbers here. I'm kind of shocked that he chose to hang out. Oh, well, there you go. Not famous last words, but you know, sitting here saying like, yeah, we're not going to have to worry about air elementals, but there's an air elemental. So yeah, it looks like he does have Conjuration 5, which, like, yeah, I mean, you know, I have 2 5s. My research hasn't been fantastic. So, you know, it's totally conceivable that he has that in addition to other things. But yeah, kind of surprised that he'd be using the bird rating spell. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get a ton of air mages that can summon in air elementals, so he may be in a situation where it's like he has more air gems than he can like realistically use, you know, in the battles with the number of mages that he has. But yeah, like, you know, air elementals are pretty strong. He only had 1 there, so like, yeah, that not without cost. We lose a Grandmaster. That hurts. You know, it's just, yeah, one of the nature, like, human HP guys in robes, like, they're, you know, probably an Eagle got him, or, you know, Thunderstrike, definitely. We lose 37 crossbowmen. That's fine. That's not a big deal. And then we lose 10 Knights of the Chalice. Always sad to lose the Knights, but, you know, still leaves us like 47. We have more reinforcements coming up. And then, yeah, we, you know, knock out like a pretty significant chunk of, you know, Miklin's stuff. Casters wise, like, this is 10 turkeys is pretty big, right? Like, these guys are 125 gold. Not particularly expensive mages, but to knock out 10 of them, that's substantial at this point in the game. And then, you know, High Priest of the Sky, these are the main guys that I'm worried about, right? Because obviously, you know, we don't have shock resistance, and these guys can do shock damage. So, you know, to knock 4 of those guys out, and they're capital only, not slow to recruit though, which is nice. But still, to knock 4 of those guys out, like, yeah, man, the Coatl is nice. Troop wise, you know, he doesn't lose too much actually. He doesn't actually have that much here. We found an effigy of war, which will inflate your army's like scout report, so it makes it look like there's more units that are there than actually are. So nicely done. So, you know, he had less than I realized. And like, yeah, Eagle Warriors are not too expensive, and they're like recruit anywhere, so this is easier for him to replace. And like a moderate PD dump, like nothing crazy. But yeah, that definitely works out for us. And then let's see, yeah, we're under siege, but we're not too worried about 1 bird. And then, yeah, we get some gold. That's very nice. And then Vanarus is eliminated. We're getting some more starvation. Like, yeah, we need to get those nature mages rolling. But yeah, overall, not a terrible turn so far. So yeah, I'll catch you guys after the jump. All right, so this is the situation and what we're doing about it. The main thing, of course, is we are going for Miklin's capital. You know, this isn't without risk. But I think we're in good shape. We have spotted the Jaguars. Looks like he also summoned in some Long Dead, but yeah, not too many of them. I'm not expecting too many more Jaguars than what we already saw. And since, you know, we wiped out the other half of the army, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I don't think his Pretender can quite reach. Could be wrong about that. Definitely if he's able to combine his Pretender in with a cap defense, it's going to make it a lot harder. I think we can still win, but yeah, we'll see. Obviously, he can PD dump. There's still, you know, High Priest of the Sky, right? And so, like, full-size air elementals and Thunderstrike are definitely on the table. But considering how the last battle went, I have high hopes. So, and, you know, we're behind. Probably should have done this a few turns ago. So we're going to go in there. Our reinforcements are actually going to try to capture this province, and I'm a little concerned that, you know, I don't think the Pretender can quite make it to the capital, but the Pretender can probably make it here. You know, I'd be pretty surprised if he couldn't. And, you know, this is a pretty obvious attack for, you know, my reinforcements to be making. So I think there's a good chance that the Pretender pops up in this province. And that could be bad. Like, I mean, you know, this isn't the end of the world if we lose this. This isn't like that much stuff. But it's quite a few knights. But, you know, we'll have like a decent amount of flaming arrows. Like, can we beat the god and a PD dump? Probably not. But, I mean, he probably doesn't have that much money, so if he spends his money PD dumping here, then that's money that's not going on top of the capital. I'd rather lose this battle than on top of the capital, so it's kind of okay, like, either way. And I think we have a decent chance, especially if there's no PD dump. You know, 34 crossbowmen is not a ton, but we will be putting flaming arrows on them, and like 20 knights is nothing to sneeze at. We're splitting off our paladin that has like the incinerate stick, right, the Rod of the Phoenix. So he can do some blessing here for these knights. I probably won't be able to get quite all of them, but enough, I think, that they'll be pretty dangerous. And then he's just going to be able to add some incinerate. Probably actually won't get too many incinerates out of our Grandmaster here, right? Because flaming arrows is mostly going to knock him out. But he'll wake up periodically and do an incinerate. So hopefully between these incinerates, the flaming arrows on the crossbows along with our knights will be enough to take down that pretender if he does decide to pop up. So yeah, I'm willing to risk it. It's a decent chance. Otherwise, it looks like Xibalba, it's hard to tell, right? Their main stack is still here on top of the throne. He's probably building a fort here, and maybe, yeah, there you go, fortifications under construction. So there's a good chance this just hangs out to cover this fort. So we are moving a scout up to see does he have a force here. I think there's a good chance that he's actually not going to come in and grab too much of Mechlin, which would be good news for us. And then hopefully Ashdod is still busy, so we stand a fair chance, assuming everything goes well, but we stand a fair chance of picking up most of Mechlin's territory, which is good news, because we probably aren't going to get much more, if any, of Bandar's territory, because it's hard to say, right? Yus is an elven faction, right, and they can have trouble sieging, and Bandar does have a castle here, so it might take, I don't know how much Yus is able really to deploy right now, so they may just be trying to raid Bandar down and might not actually be able to jump on top of and take their capital soon. But considering that Yus won an underwater war against Relay, they're probably in a decent spot. I don't think that war is quite finished yet, because still haven't seen, unless I missed it, still haven't seen an elimination message from Relay, but I know that Relay burned down their capital fort based on some screenshots in the game chat, so they can't have that much left, I think. Who knows? Then again, in the vein of being wrong about things, probably the other biggest thing we can't really see, but I actually hit up Nabaa, right? Because I've been late, and I was worried that once they finished off Arcocephali, that they would potentially move in against me. So I talked to him and I was like, yeah, nice work taking down Arco. What what are your plans? How do you feel about attacking Bandar? And they were basically yeah, we're basically dead. He said that Arcocephali has taken his capital, and that yeah, basically him and Arcocephali are wiping each other out. So yeah, I was pretty worried about Nabaa. From what I'm able to see, right, this looks like a pretty commanding position, but I guess Arcocephali decided to all in with their army and did pretty well. So they're not doing great in terms of holding territory, but obviously losing your capital is a huge deal, and it just sounded like from what Nabaa was saying that they're pretty much done. I'm guessing that either they don't have another fort or a lot of other forts, because the Arcocephali's capital has been under siege for a while, so Arco can't have that much either. Anyway, all this to say, this is really good news for me, right? And yeah, another reason, really should reach out to, because the Nabaa player just, gave me that information, free of charge kind of thing, which I guess makes sense, right? Because, if I come in and take out Arcocephali, I'm sure he'll be happy about that. So I'm not really in a position yet. Right, here's our capital under siege. We're breaking siege. Not too worried about a single Blackhawk. We have a few knights here, so yeah, a little bit of concern about getting sniped, but we're bringing out 2 commanders, so that'll be fine. We'll be able to unlock our capital. And we're, bringing over some troops here that we had, covering this fort construction. It should finish next turn. I think with the PD, the fact that the god has moved away, the god's not going to come over here. This is probably out of range of, Call of the Winds, the bird spell. And we can take, a single, Great Hawk coming at us over here. So we're bringing the troops off and going to link up with, a few knights here, doing, a little bit more knight recruitment here. This is actually the only place we're recruiting a mage this turn. Which not ideal. Most of our money is going into a palisade here for the lizard shamans. Yeah, we're late on this. We need to get rolling. And then of course, we are losing a good amount of money here because our capital is under siege by a single bird. So yeah, we don't have a ton of money this turn, and a lot of it's going into infrastructure. But anyway, we're gonna link up with this. We have a few knights here, start to build up another force. possibly like start to split stuff off from this. We do want to like shard out and try to pick up as much of the Mictlan territory as quickly as possible, again assuming everything goes well. So I'm not sure how much we'll be able to pull back, and it's probably going to take a while to get back, and we have to worry about Bandar. So realistically we're probably looking at like building up another force back here at home, though we probably won't need that much. And then of course, we have to take back from the independence. But then I'll probably talk to Nabaa, and try to get his permission, to start taking provinces off of him. Although we may just start taking provinces off of him. It's one of those things where like try to be polite, right? So it's like, if he is out, and just let him know like, hey, I'm gonna be grabbing some of your provinces. Like, is that cool? And if he says that it's not cool, well, I'll have to reassess, but probably will still go in anyway. But I imagine he'll be fine with it, just based off if he still felt that, he had a chance to hold this land, I don't see why he would tell me, freely that it's like, oh yeah, like I'm in big trouble. So yeah, we want to try to race to grab that and then eventually like sit on Arcoscephali's capital, right? We do not want to give Arcoscephali a chance to get back into the game. So yeah, that's kind of, try to finish off Mictlan, gather ourselves up to get in here and grab Arcoscephali. We'll see what happens with Bandar, right? Assuming everything goes swimmingly in both of these places and Yis moves really slowly, then we'll finish off Bandar. And then assuming that Tianqi like is still holding on, or we need to get some scouts down here to see like what's going on in this conflict. Probably should reach out to Tianqi, maybe get some more free information about how things are going. But yeah, assuming that like they're still heavily embattled, like, there's some infrastructure here that, well, I've been talking about it for a while. So, but that's pretty long term. Like I said, I do have to be worried somewhat, about Ariu. I suggested that like, hey, Vanheim Vanheim in this age. Vanheim isn't like particularly big, and like Man, just finished their war, so like, maybe that's a good target like for the two of you to work together. Because like I said, I don't have any nature magic yet, and he has foul vapors, so yeah, I think relatively safe, especially considering like managed to finish a fort here. This is where their pretender is, so that's good news. It's going to slow down this war a bit, and we're moving our scout up to see like if Uruk's capital is under siege or what's going on up there, because Ariu probably won't move out until he finishes this off. And then he'd also made noises possibly about Ashdod, although once we finish like Mictlan, that'll leave us with a decent border with Ashdod that doesn't interfere with Ariu's border, right? Because right now we both kind of need to move through the same area, so that would be a bit of an awkward war for us to work together on. But Ashdod is a powerful nation, and they've been doing pretty well. They're a decent size, and they have a strong bless, so certainly I wouldn't mind some help in cutting them down to size or knocking them out, so that is also a possibility. And yeah, I think that kind of covers like diplomatic aspects. Research wise, we're almost to Thaumaturgy 5. I think 2 more turns probably. Yeah, 2 more turns abouts. And then we're gonna, go for the construction 6 for our lanterns, and then also we need that booster, to do our maximum fire plan, the fire booster for our pretender when he comes out. Construction 6 I think is always a bit greedy, especially if you're not a thug nation or a super combatant nation, right? Which Marignon isn't. But like, we have enough defense, right? So it's like we have Alteration 5. We have Flaming Arrows, and then we're going to have Soul Slay, and then we're not very far away from Conjuration 5 for the big fire elementals, so if we need to, we can readjust and like quickly get Conjuration 5, so we have enough defensive tools that like I don't actually think this is that greedy at this point. And of course, the longer you wait on the research boosters, or the more research you do without the research boosters, the less useful the research boosters are. So yeah, it's always a bit of a trade-off there. And then we're going to go for Enchantment 6, so that we can actually cast. That's where Eternal Pyre, yeah, where our fire gem generator is. And so yeah, once all that is set, we'll probably finish off Conjuration. Anyway, yeah, that could all change. That's pretty far down the line, but that's kind of where the research is at and what the plan is for research. And yeah, I think that covers turn 29.